Hello everyone, welcome back to the Rare and Sleeveless channel. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile of my favorite deck of this OP14 format. We got Purple Doflamingo. If you don't know what he does, he's a 5 life, 5k leader, and on your opponent's attack, he Dawn -1, and you can redirect one of your opponent's attacks to either your leader or whatever it's like the target. Now this is nothing crazy, it's just very standard. So we're just going to start off. We got 4 Dillinger. This card is really good in the sense that he ties with your leader effect where you're redirecting hits. His effect is he's a 1k, 1 cost 2k, and 1k counter. On KO, you get to add up 1 Dawn to your Dawn deck rested, and then you look at top 5. So it's a big card you can use. You can use it in any turn. When you have him on the field, you just redirect it with the leader effect, and you don't lose any Dawn or nothing like that. And you get the card back to you since you played him down. So essentially, he can replace himself once he's played. We have our next searcher in our deck. We got 4 Sugars, basically like another pseudo blocker for our deck where we wouldn't have to use our leader effect as well. So we can establish a lot of early game board states with Dillinger and Sugar. It can be really annoying for your opponent because you're gonna have a rest of Sugar, which is gonna search every turn if it's still there, and you have a Dillinger to protect the first attack. So you can set up a lot of board states where you can get yourself a lot of advantage early game, and that can carry you out through the late game and such like that. So now we're moving on to the higher cost characters. We got 4 drops over here. We got 2 baby 5s. It's a healing card in purple, so it kind of breaks the limits of the card game, is what I think. It's a 4 cost 1k counter. On play, add up to 1 Dawn active from your Dawn deck, and then on KO, when you minus a Dawn, and you get to heal 1 to your life. Another thing that factors into your leader effect, redirecting, and it gets to ramp a Dawn, so a lot of times you're just ramping up to the bodies you're going to see later in the deck. Sugar, another ramp card, low cost body. This card is really good in the sense where every card in this deck, it's good. It ties with his leader effect. For example, Sugar, it's a 4 cost 1k counter, and then on play you add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck instead as active. Same as baby 5. They're both basically ramp cards. Cool on KO effect of Sugar is if your opponent has 6 or more Dawn on their field, you get to play up to 1 Don Quixote Pirates card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Play out anything that's 5 or less. Essentially, these are the most value that I would think you could play off Sugar and our 5 costs in our deck. Monet, another ramp card and a pretty key card in your deck that you have to see this card, in my opinion. It's on play. If your leader's Don Quixote Pirates, you can add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck instead as active. So same as the last 2 cards, both ramp cards. And so same thing on KO. It has a niche effect. Draw 2 cards and trash 1, and then add up to 2 Dawn from your Dawn deck to your field and rested. Essentially, you get to ramp 2 Dawn. Really good card. Our next vital 5 drop is we got Virgo. He's basically the protector of your deck. You have to have him in the field or you're just gonna lose board presence. There's a lot of times you're not sure whether to play him out first or second off your effects and stuff like that, but you just have to be mindful of your Dawn. Get this guy established in your field. He does a lot. His stat line is he's a 5 cost 7k, good vanilla stats, and then he has once per turn. If your Don Quixote Pirates character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you return 1 Dawn. So anything that can move through effects, so like events like Red Rock or Mihawk, might cost Mihawk the bottom deck, your characters, anything to remove a character. So something like Battle, that wouldn't count. This is protection against effects. And he has another effect when attacking, Dawn -1 to give one of your opponent's characters -2k. So that can come up a lot in battling your opponent's board. Our next 5 drop, a little more niche. You probably might find some variances, nothing too crazy, but it's just Rosinante. We have a lot of events, not too crazy amount, but we have a decent amount of events that we can use so we can get some value. Also, he's in our archetype. He's not a new card, but I'll basically explain. It's 5 cost 6k, 1k counter, on play. You may trash 1 event from your hand and you draw 2. And then at the end of your turn, if you have 7 or more Dawn, you get to restand 2 Dawns active. So there's a lot of value just from this card alone. It can help you fix your hand and stuff like that. First big monster, we got 8 cost Doffy. He's an 8 cost 9k, no counter, on play, Dawn -1. You get to play up 1 Don Quixote Pirates, cost of 5 or less from your hand. And then on your opponent's attack, once per turn, you may rest 1 of your Dawns to add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. This is essentially the card that will let you, play up all these cards on top and anything less, but essentially these are the main targets. You're going to be trying to develop a 8 cost and 5 cost combo back to back. Essentially is how I'd see the games would develop. You're looking for 2 of these and essentially a combo of 1 of these. You get your Dawn back since you are minusing Dawn a lot too, so you have to be wary and watch out how much Dawn you use. And then now we're going to move on to our next big drop. We got 10 drop Dofi. This is a new card from the set. It's really strong. It's a 10 cost 10k and then on play. Don -3, he has 2 effects and you need to choose between either or. If your leader has Don Quixote Pirates, KO up to one of your opponent's character with an 8 cost or less. And the other effect is up to 3 opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less cannot be rested. Some scenarios where decks that let go tall very quick, you can KO like an 8 cost real quick, like maybe 7 cost Shanks. Choosing 3 characters to not be able to rest is a really big thing because, you know, it's really good against Emu, good against Mihawk. These 2 effects, you can cover both areas. It just doesn't hit anything like higher than 9. You are purple decks, so you are ramping early, so you're getting these bodies out. A little note that I was talking about Monet earlier. If you do play 10 drop, you want to make sure you at least have a Monet in the field. The way you win a lot of games is you play 10 drop, and you have a Monet developed in the field already, and you redirect them to clear your Monet, so you can get your Dawn back. It depends on your field, but in general sense, if this is like your simplified field and you're just trying to get back to your 10 Dawn so you can play another 10 drop. So if you can find a way to, you know, get your Dawn back, whether it be to have active Dawn like Rosinante in your 8 drops or in other means, but essentially the easiest way to get your back to 10 Dawn is having a Monet in the field. You're -3 Dawn, so you're at 7 Dawn, and then you use lead effect, that's -1, and you redirect it to Monet. And Monet's on kill will bring you back 2 Dawn, and that will bring you just right up back to 10 Dawn your turn. If I don't have Monet in the field, I'm a little less lenient to play 10 drop. I don't want to lose so much Dawn. Sometimes it's okay to play without a way to get back to 10 Dawn. And now we're moving on to the events of our deck. 3, I do not forgive those who laugh at my family. It's from OP10. It's a 1 cost searcher, main or counter. Look at top 3 and add the Don Quixote parts. And then we have 4 divine departures. I think this card is essential because one kind of bad matchup we have is Ace. And this is kind of a card that we can use to fight Ace, you know, in combination with like a card, which are the next event I'll show you right now, is we have Nodo Beam. So you can set up scenarios against Ace where you can have Nodo Beam on the turn. They're going to be playing their 8 cost spell. So you can activate Nodo Beam onto their 10 drop, and you can use Divine Departure in your next turn to answer it. I think there's another 2K that's Monet, but what I run is 3 trebles. I don't really ever play this card, and I'm on 4 Usahachis, standard good 2K. And you just rest blockers and kill people. Now we're gonna move on to the matchups. I guess I'll just keep it simple in like the current meta with like 5 leaders. Against Emu, you want to take second. You don't want them to go second because if they go second, you're not gonna have a good day because that's what they want. Against everyone else, in my opinion, I like going first. On your usual 7 Dawn play, you get to play, or turn, you get to play out your 8 costs. You know, on your 5 Dawn, if you ramp up, you'll be at 8 Dawn next turn. So I think that's okay. Ace, I think they're slightly more advantageous because they have a lot more tools. They have like pudding, they got red rocks. So if you're not set up with the Virgo and stuff like that, you might get screwed over by their red rocks and Josu's and other cards like that. Also, pudding is just annoying cards. So if you're playing against blue, just in general, you just have to keep that in mind to not take too many cards to the hand and stuff like that. We got Mihawk. I think Doffy is actually advantageous against Mihawk. I don't think Mihawk can just keep up with what this deck can do. Like, yes, they can, you know, stun my board, but I think my deck can answer their board a lot faster. Like by the time they play their 7 cost Shanks, I can KO it with my 10 drop. The deck's too fast in a sense, but it's also like super defensive. In my opinion, if I were to compare it to another deck, it's like Green Bonnie. So if you're a Green Bonnie player, I think you would transition well to this type of leader. It's essentially the same effect. It's very defensive, and it's not really an aggressive deck. If you can play one more turn and you don't have to go for lethal, like lethal is not guaranteed, and if you can play one more turn, I would always try to play for one more turn. I want to say there's a certain way to play against Boa. The 10 drop is big value against that deck. It answers everything in their deck except for the 9 drop. So you can get a lot of value by, like, if they don't have a board developed, you can, you know, swing your field out and make them trigger their bodies, and then you can play your 10 drop to answer the field. If you do face mirror match, I didn't know how that goes. I never faced mirror match. I think you're definitely going first because you're playing the first 8 drop. So just having a double developed body is just better in my opinion. Generally, you go second against Emu, first against everyone else because you get to mitigate attack in a sense. So if you're a new player, you know, just getting into the game and you're like, you know, I bought a box of OP14, a few boxes, whatever, and you like pulled up, you know, a bunch of Doffy cards. I think it's a really good leader to start in the sense that it's a 5k 5 life leader. So it's a very essential stat line for the game, so you're used to the game flow of the game. It has everything besides rush and some bottom deck cards. So this deck is there's not really crazy effects. It's a lot of fundamentals. So I think for a beginner, especially buying OP14, they're gonna have a lot of new cards, and then they would just have to buy like some of the older cards like the Rosinantes and 8-drops. But as a new player, I think it'd be a good idea to actually pick up this deck because, you know, compared to other decks, their effects are too crazy. Make the game seem more crazier than it is. Like this deck this leader is not like a special, like there's no like crazy effects. It's just like, I'm just gonna redirect your attack that way. Alright guys, that was my little informative video about Purple Doflamingo. It's my favorite leader of the set so far, and I think for a competitive player, I think it's a good idea to take as the dark horse of the for an event. I don't think it's like a tier 1 or maybe tier 1.5. My opinion is probably like tier 2, to be honest. As a rogue deck, I think it can reach the point of tier 1 if it's like hits the right matchups. So if you're like a dedicated player to like Doflamingo, or you really like Doflamingo, I think you have a fair chance as like a rogue deck. That'll conclude my Doflamingo deck profile. I hope you guys join the train because this leader is super sick, and thank you guys for watching.